Hey guys, Seth Fuller, your favorite attorney here with a constitutional amendment roundup. Now, if you don't know, tomorrow, November 2nd, the state of Texas is having a special election to vote on proposed constitutional amendments. There are 8 of them. Now, usually I'm not a rah-rah, let's go vote person because I think there's a lot of corruption. I think that politicians are gross and there's a lot between us and our voting rights and what we actually want, us as citizens and what we actually want. However, this is a directive vote as we get in Texas. This is where you can vote on something that will become a part of the Texas Constitution or will not based on our vote. It's also a very small turnout, so your vote is more likely to count. So I'm going to go over these as quick as possible just to give you a quick guide. Please go out and vote, protect your constitutional amendments. If you don't know, we have one of the longest constitutions in America. Texas Constitution is very long. So with that in mind, let's start with Proposition 1. Proposition 1 is a rodeo raffle amendment. That's right. We want to protect the rights of Texas citizens to have rodeo raffles. I'm not kidding. The text is right there. And I'm just going to leave it at that. That's a real constitutional amendment. They want to put that in the Texas Constitution. Proposition 2 adds county governments to the government entities that can raise bonds to try to get taxes to pay for roads and other civil improvements, hopefully for us. Cities and towns can already do this, and now they want to make it a part of the Constitution that counties can too. So if you believe that we need better ways to raise tax monies and to get better services from the government, then vote yes for Proposition 2. If you think we don't need any more of that we've had enough entities that can raise money for taxes and therefore raise taxes, vote no for Proposition 2. Proposition 3 is one of 2 COVID cases that we have. Essentially, when COVID happened, we shut down churches for a very small amount of time, and the government doesn't want to do that. The legislature has decided that maybe we shouldn't be able to do that, so they introduced this constitutional amendment that prevents the government from shutting down churches. Now, I'm a person who wants to maximize freedom for everybody, including religious freedoms, but I also wonder why we need to isolate religious freedoms. It seems to me what you can do in your home and in store is as important as what you can do at church. I do think churches have a big role to play in our society, especially in Texas. However, I personally don't see the reason that we have to single those out. But maybe you just think this was a good step, that the government went too far during COVID and that we should limit the government from shutting down churches. If so, vote yes for Proposition 3. If you think that this is an overstretch and maybe if we hit something, a real disaster, a real emergency, that this could hamper the government's attempts to remediate that emergency, well then vote no for Proposition 3. Proposition 4 is the first of 2 judges' amendments, and essentially what it does is it raises the eligibility requirements for most judges at the higher levels. So they'll have to have more experience, more training, and all that. Maybe you think judges should be more of the accessible type, and we shouldn't base judges on education and experience. If you believe that, you want more diversity and less, smarty pants judges, then vote no. If you believe that we should just leave it as it is and things are going fine, then vote yes. I sit in front of a lot of these judges. I appeal to these judges. I write writs to these judges. I personally would like to see more experience for these judges. I think a lot of very bad judges get in, but I think the way to address that is way better addressed through the elimination of partisan elections of judges. However, maybe this will be a good start and a good Band-Aid for that situation. Proposition 5 is also about judges. It's a little less affecting of the normal person or even the normal lawyer. Essentially, it lets the Office of Judicial Conduct that regulates judges' elections to also have some say about the candidate. So essentially, if a candidate does something wrong while running for judge, this office can can punish them instead of just the bar who does it now. If you think
5.
that we need more regulation of judicial elections, then vote yes for Proposition 6. If we think we already have enough and this shouldn't be added to the Constitution, then vote no on Proposition 6 is for nursing homes what Proposition 2 was for religious services. Essentially stops the government from disallowing visitors to nursing homes during emergencies. It's the same thing. If you think that this is a group that deserves protection, then vote yes for Proposition 6. If you think this hampers and hamstrings the government, if they have a real emergency that could, after what happened with the nursing homes, it's a very interesting question. If you think that you do not want the government to be limited on its emergency actions, then vote no for Proposition 6. Proposition 7 is the property tax amendment for disabled widows. So if you're a widowed of a disabled person, it essentially puts a hold on your property taxes and gives you some exemptions that you wouldn't normally have. If you think that these people need protecting, the widows of older disabled people, then vote yes for Proposition 7. If you think we don't need this added to our Constitution, or if you think that this will limit our ability to collect taxes, then vote no on Proposition 7. Proposition 8 is a very similar one for the widows and family of deceased soldiers who died in the line of duty, died in battle or died while serving their country. So if you believe that there are special protections needed for this, that their family should be able to get some exemptions on their taxes because their loved one died while serving their country, then vote yes on Proposition 8. If, again, you think this is an overstretch, something we don't need, or that could be addressed in another way, then vote no on Proposition 8. So I hope this was helpful, this very short video, and if it was, please like and subscribe and everything. I want you to go out and vote and exercise as much power you have, and this is the way to do it. If you ever vote to me, this is really what you need to vote for. Thank you for listening, guys. Have a good one.